Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Sunday and another Steven Sports Sunday. This is my third solo episode so far. Just me today. No special guests or anything like that. Um, Hopefully, you all enjoyed last week when I had Bill Riley on the show to talk Utah football. I really enjoyed that. It was a great experience for me. So hopefully, y'all enjoyed kind of the content and what we talked about. It was really fun. Also, a lot went down in the week of sports this week, so I've got a lot to get to today, and I will be starting things off with my biggest takeaway of the week, and then I will go down through this week in professional sports. A lot happened in the NFL in regards to signings in this week, so a lot to get to there on NFL talk. I'll take you through the current NHL standings as I left them off last week, as well as some updates about the MLB. Just a quick thought on the NBA, and then I have some deep thoughts about the Pga Tour this week. So I have a lot to get to there, and then I will go through my weekly Utah athletics report as well to close out the episode. So should be good, should be fun. Got a lot to get to, but first and foremost, my biggest takeaway of this week is actually also wrapped around the University of Utah, and it is their ski team. They have won once again the national championship in skiing. Another tremendous feat. This is a team event combined with Nordic racing, alpine racing, kind of all facets of ski racing. So that's cross country skiing and downhill skiing. This is the Utes' second straight national championship. They won it in 2019, and they had the lead after the first 2 days of the event last year in 2020 before COVID shut the event down, and they were unable to retain their crown. But they were able to do so once again this year in 2021. So back-to-back champions, but that is in 2019 and 2021. Congratulations to Utah skiing. Tremendous accomplishment. A program that continuously brings in national championships to the University of Utah, and definitely does not get enough credit and recognition for the tremendous work that they do. It's easy to recruit people to come ski here in Utah. It's the greatest snow on earth. So many good amenities around the Salt Lake area. There's tremendous ski resorts, but with that being said, people from all around the world come to ski at the University of Utah, and it's the absolute best of the best, and they continue to provide year in and year out just phenomenal displays of athleticism and skill, as well as teamwork to get the job done and provide national championships. So big shout out to the University of Utah ski team getting back on track with yet another national championship. All right, that's my big takeaway from this episode, but I got a lot more to get to here as we dive down through professional sports and things like that. So in this week in professional sports, let's start talking the NFL. Multiple big signings this week. I knew that last week when I had some signings to get to, it was just going to be the snowball effect of people coming flying off the board. First one, and the one that really kind of threw me for not a loop, but surprised me in a bit was Dak Prescott re-signing with the Dallas Cowboys. Not at all surprised that they re-signed him, just the amount of money that they re-signed him for. This deal is 4 years, $160 million. That is just an absurd amount of money, in my opinion, for Dak Prescott. Don't get me wrong. I think Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. I do not think he's an elite quarterback in this league, and I don't think he's done enough to prove that. He has fought through a lot. He's been openly talking about depression issues that he was going through at the start of quarantine. He's now battling back after that gruesome leg injury that kind of took him out for almost the entirety of the season last year. And yeah, it's hard. I think this is obviously a fantastic move for Dak in Dak's camp, because he is coming off of that injury. He's now secured his bag, and yeah, it's great for him, and hopefully he's able to come back and be that same type of player for the Cowboys and kind of try and lead that offense. But this is almost a little bit of a flyer in my eyes of kind of taking a chance on a guy that's coming back after a big injury, and giving him a lot of money for 4 years and saying, you're our guy. And this is your opportunity to go and show that. So I think it's too much money, but with that being said, I've said that about pretty much any big sports contract that's come down, especially some ones in baseball, where such as Fernando Tatis is making 400, almost 500 million over 14 years. It's just ridiculous. Like, the contracts are getting outrageous. But with that being said, they're being compensated for the effort that they're able to put in, the work that they do, and the appeal that they draw, and the Cowboys are paying Dak. So that's big news throughout the league. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have made a big splash this week. One of their moves is they put wide receiver Chris Godwin, who is a free agent, on their franchise tag. So they have Chris Godwin now locked down for the foreseeable future. And by doing so, you would think, I don't know how they continuously sign these many people. Tom Brady just took another pay decrease. He renegotiated his salary to make less money. That way they can go out and sign the people that they need to re-sign the people they needed to re-sign, aka Chris Godwin, and a couple other things. And he's now renegotiated that contract to be under contract until 2024. So he not only extended his contract, but he took less money in the process. So interesting move there. And I've seen a lot of tweets about people wondering why Tom Brady is continuously winning Super Bowls. And this is a huge factor in this. Tom Brady is worth a lot of money. He has a lot of money. Him making 21 million in a year compared to him making 12 million in a year is a drop in a bucket when you're in comparison to Tom Brady at this point. He can make however much money he wants to make in an endorsement deal and cover that loss like it's no problem. Tom Brady, the ability to approach his contracts in this way is astounding to me. And one of the reasons why he is the greatest quarterback of all time, because he knows that he needs talent around him, especially at this point in his career. And by doing so, by taking these smaller contracts, he's allowing his team to go out and sign that talent that he needs to win another Super Bowl. He's got seven Super Bowl rings. And with the roster that the Buccaneers are loading up again, he's going to have an eighth. They're just so good. I know it's so hard to repeat in the NFL, but they looked so dominant throughout the stretch, and they have Tom Brady at the helm. I love this move. I think this is one of the best things that you can do. And there's a lot of people out there scratching your head when you got Joe Flacco signing for a couple of years, $50 million after winning one Super Bowl and then disappearing off of the face of the earth. Tom Brady knows that a quarterback needs dudes to throw to. A quarterback needs dudes to block. A quarterback needs dudes to run the ball. And by doing the efforts that he does in renegotiating his contracts and taking pay decreases, he sets his teams up for success. And that is just a part of his career that is completely underrated. And it's amazing to me. It truly is amazing. In other news with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, another re-signing is linebacker Levante David. They re-signed him for 2 more years for $25 million. He was a huge game changer at that linebacker position in the Super Bowl. He was able to lock down Travis Kelce pretty much one-on-one with some help from Devin White here and there to allow a lot more help over the top from the safety position to be assigned to Tyreek Hill, and really caused a lot of problems for the Chiefs offense. Granted, the Chiefs offense biggest problem is they couldn't block, and Mahomes had no time to find anyone open, but he did a tremendous job on Travis Kelce, one of the best tight ends in the league, in my opinion. So huge signing. And I think Levante David is a star there at linebacker for the Bucs. Okay. Other signings, Cam Newton signed last year with the Patriots on a one-year deal. He is back in New England. He just signed another 1-year deal for $5 million. I talked about this with some friends over the weekend. I think this is the right move for both the Patriots and for Cam. The Patriots love Cam Newton. Bill Belichick loves Cam Newton. Cam Newton did not throw the ball well in New England. But let's face it, he had zero help on the outside. Julian Edelman didn't play. N'Keal Harry hurt for a lot of the year. He had subpar wide receivers to throw to, and he didn't have a whole lot of time. It was a weird offense. He's still a very dynamic athlete and can still run the football, and you saw that last year. But he's really going to need to take some strides in the passing game this season. I hope we see a healthy Julian Edelman. I hope we see a healthy N'Keal Harry. And if I'm the Patriots, I'm looking for a wide receiver because, or maybe it's maybe a lineman, but still a wide receiver to be a dynamic player on the outside because Cam has a cannon. When he lets it go, he can get some serious velocity on it, and just got to work on that accuracy and having some targets open to throw to, and not having to feel like you're constantly just trying to force the ball into the tightest of possible windows. So Cam Newton is back with the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick on a 1-year, $5 million deal. Let's flip over to the Packers, and the Packers have re-signed their star running back Aaron Jones to a 4-year, $48 million deal, which is very substantial for a running back. That's a lot of money. That's around $12 to $13 million a year. That's a lot in running back numbers. I think the trend really got set with Le'Veon Bell of him kind of holding out to get more money at the running back position, and then he kind of floundered in Pittsburgh. And so that was a trend where they said, look, we have talented guys coming out of the draft all the time at the running back position. So this is a substantial deal, and Aaron Jones, in my opinion, is worth it. He's a solid back. He's dependable. He's battled a couple hamstring injuries, but with that being said, when he's in the game, he's a force to be reckoned with and makes that Packers offense a whole lot better with a run game that's reliant upon for sure. And then last little bit of off-season moves news, I guess. Terrible way of saying that, is the Bears. The Chicago Bears have placed their franchise tag on wide receiver Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson played for Penn State in college. I've seen him make some absolutely incredible plays over the course of his career. I love this guy. I think he's an absolutely tremendous wide receiver. I think he needs a guy to get him the ball. But with that being said, this is a guy that's going to be a problem for the NFL. I think he's underrated, and I think he's going to really have a couple years here in the near future where he's dynamic. And I like this move. I think the Bears are very much in favor of pushing for Russell Wilson, which would be a huge league-altering change to see Russell leave Seattle. But with that being said, if the Bears can get a quarterback other than Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky, who they've been dealing with the last few years, to be able to consistently get Allen Robinson the ball, they have an absolute star at wide receiver. And let's not forget the Bears defense is very, very good. So I like this move by the Bears and locking down this guy on the outside to be a problem for that division moving forward. You got a race car going on the street right next to me. It's just ridiculous how loud some of these cars are. But anyway, let's talk down to the NHL. So I left the NHL off the docket last week because I didn't really think anything drastic happened. But I'll take you through the standings of each division right now. And the Tampa Bay Lightning have retaken the lead in that Central Division. They're the reigning Stanley Cup champions, and they are now 19-5 on their season, which is just crazy. That's a really good start. They have 40 points. They're actually tied, I believe, with the Florida Panthers, who also have 40 points. But the Lightning are surging in that division for sure, and they're always a team to kind of keep your eye on. The New York Islanders have a 2-point lead over the Washington Capitals in the East Division. The Islanders are 18-6 with 40 points in their division, and the Capitals are 17-6 with 38 points in their division. So that one more win, paving the way for the Islanders right now. Shout out Frankie Borelli, huge biggest Islander fan. Foreplay golf, love that guy. Anyway, the Vegas Golden Knights have the lead in the Western Conference. They're 18-6. With 37 points, and they're being chased by the Minnesota Wild, who I believe have 35 points in that division. Vegas is such an amazing story when it comes up, in my opinion. This is a team that's, I believe, 4 or 5 years old now. The Capitals beat them in the Stanley Cup in Yeah, they're very new in a franchise, and they're just continuously winning divisions. And they had an expansion draft where they were able to take each team from the NHL was able to put a couple guys on a list of players that they could draft. So that way they could have a roster of NHL players. And so by doing so, but with this draft, they made the playoffs that year. And then um, and then they found themselves the next year in the Stanley Cup final with the Capitals. They ended up losing that, but then they ended up in the NHL in the Stanley Cup finals again. And so it's just this crazy run, in my opinion. And Vegas is just a team that they have never experienced being bad at this point in time. So once again, they are out front of the Western Conference with 37 points. The Toronto Maple Leafs are leading the way in the North Division. That is the division made up of all the Canadian teams. They are 19-8 with 40 points. They have a 4-point lead over the Winnipeg Jets, and that's pretty much expanding. I think the Maple Leafs are a threat this season, and I think they're going to be really, really good. And so as of right now, 40 points leads the Central, the East, and the North divisions with the Tampa Bay Lightning, the New York Islanders, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. All right, opening day for the MLB is just over 2 weeks away. Spring training leagues are in complete full swing. It's getting warmer. People are getting excited. It's always a good time when you have kind of the golf season in full swing. March Madness is right around the corner. Leaf and I are going to have a great episode about Selection Sunday that happened today. We'll have that out for you tomorrow. But yeah, it's a good time. It's one of my favorite times in sports. But with that being said, baseball is right around, for real. Baseball that counts is right around the corner. It's going to be really fun to watch. I'll give you a little name that's having a heck of a spring so far, and that is new signee to the Chicago Cubs. Jock Peterson. He played for the Los Angeles Dodgers for a while, but he's having a heck of a spring training so far. He's batting .545 with 12 hits, and 5 of those hits being home runs. He's having a monstrous spring, and I expect that to kind of continue. Once Jock left LA and got to Chicago, he realized that a vacant number was number 24. So he's a guy that's been in LA for a while. He was in LA for the death of Kobe Bryant, and he said, it's only fitting that I wear number 24 in honor of Kobe Bryant. Things like that happen in sports, and watch out for Jock to have just an absolute monster season for the Cubs. In terms of the NBA, the All-Star game was last weekend. Team LeBron won the All-Star game 170-150. Team LeBron was just absolutely loaded. It was a fun All-Star game, in my opinion. Dunk contest was kind of boring at halftime. But with that being said, I enjoyed seeing LeBron and Steph play on the same team, and Damian Lillard made like a half-court shot to get Team LeBron to the 170 mark to win the game. So it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. But with that being said, all the teams are now back in the swing of their normal seasons after the All-Star break. So play is resumed, and things are getting back to normal on that front. And so yeah, it was entertaining, but also wasn't. I understand that there's a lot of people out there that didn't really love it, but I thought it was entertaining and was a good way to kind of spend a Sunday evening seeing people who will probably never play on the same team have a chance to get to take the court with one another. All right, PGA Tour. Last week, Bryson DeChambeau won the Arnold Palmer Invitational. I kind of highlighted that was a great event. Everything in honor of the late great Arnold Palmer. Bryson has now won a major. He won the U.S. Open in the fall at Winged Foot. He has won at Arnold Palmer's place at Bay Hill. He's won at Jack's place at Memorial. He's starting to rack up a lot of really, really good wins. He was electric at number 6. There's a long par 5 that goes completely over a pond, and he was trying to drive the green on a direct line, some 340 yards away. The crowd was all into it. It was awesome to see, and he was able to outduel Lee Westwood by a stroke in that final round to win at Arnold's place. My thoughts on Bryson DeChambeau. He is very, very good for the game of golf. I'll preface it like that. I'll say this openly to anyone that asks. I think Bryson Dechambeau is good for the game of golf. He hits it a mile. He's trying to do something different. He's lethal out of the rough when everyone else struggles. He has a significant advantage, and he has a brilliant short game. He's a great player. He's number 6 in the world right now. I really do think he's a great player and is doing something different and takes a lot of flack. But my one beef with Bryson DeChambeau, it's going to take me a long time to get over, is back when the Masters happened in the fall, which doesn't even sound right because it always happens in the spring. Back in the fall when the Masters happened after the delay, he said that his par at Augusta National was 67. That is 5 shots under par of 72. No player in the history of the Masters until Cam Smith did it this year has ever shot 4 rounds in the 60s at Augusta National. So to go out and say that just because you've bulked up and put on all this power can go and overpower a course that has never been overpowered in its career, in all the long history of that event being played at that course, to go out and say that your par is 67 rubbed me the wrong way. And he ended up shooting over par and missed the cut and had a whole host of reasons as to why. But anyway, that's my take on Bryson DeChambeau. Still a little salty about that and hard to kind of wrap my head around that one. But I do think he's very good for the game of golf, and he's doing something completely different, going about it a different way, and he works incredibly hard. So congratulations on the win, Bryson, at Arnold Palmer. Good stuff there at Bay Hill. This week on tour was the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass. It is well renowned as the 5th major tournament of the year, the best field in golf. Just a tremendous tournament. It delivers time and time again. It has just an amazing stretch of holes in the back 9 where chaos can happen. There's an island green on 17 is a short par 3, about 140 yards, just completely surrounded by water. There's a par 5 16th right before that you're 100 yards away from the 17th green. From the 16th green, you can see everything that's happening with your playing competitors. Just kind of chaos down the stretch, and that just concluded, and Justin Thomas was the winner. Justin Thomas is a young golfer from the United States of America. He's been in the news a lot recently in the world of golf, and for not very great reasons. Justin was caught on a live mic at the Century Tournament Champions in Hawaii back in January, uttering a homophobic slur after he missed a putt. He immediately apologized after the round, but that led to him being dropped by his clothing sponsor, Polo Ralph Lauren. And so Justin has continuously apologized for this. He says he's trying to become a better person because of it. He's taking classes in educating himself to be better in certain situations. This is a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve. He's filled with emotion. He's a young guy that goes out and for the most part does it the right way, in my opinion. But he messed up in this case scenario, and he paid the price for it. And then after all of that happened, his grandfather passed away. His grandfather, to set the stage for you, was the first of 3 PGA golf professionals in that Thomas family. The first was Justin's grandfather, and then he passed down the love of the game to Justin's dad, and whose name is Mike, and then Justin's dad has been Justin's coach for his entire life, and has been his only swing coach, and he goes the go-to guy in that aspect of things. So losing that kind of connection with father and grandfather really hurt, and you could see the emotion of that after the golf tournament. Today, he was asked a question by Steve Sands of NBC, what it kind of felt like with those emotions, and he was in tears. Hard things to go through, especially when you have a linked history like that. His dad was emotional, he was emotional. That's a hard thing to go through. My grandfather was was essential in getting me into the game of golf. I will never have that experience of winning the Players Tournament, and especially a short time after losing said grandfather. But with that being said, I owe a lot of what I'm able to do as a golfer to my grandfather. So those ties are always enough to get you choked up and hard to go through. And during that grieving process, Tiger Woods was in that tragic car accident, and Tiger has been very, very influential to the younger generation of golfers that we've seen. Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Bryson DeChambeau, Colin Morikawa, some of these names that come to mind that are stars now on the PGA Tour, but were kids when Tiger was on his run. Justin Thomas isn't even 28 yet. I'm 23, 22, almost 23. Crazy. And anyway, so he's been influential to the next generation of golfers, but he's really taken a few of them completely under his wing, and none more so than Justin Thomas. That this became a mentoring partnership quickly. They got along. They've played together at the President's Cup as teammates. Tiger has relied upon him. He's befriended him in the most part. That relationship of a mentor has turned into a complete and total aspect of a beautiful friendship in the game of golf. And Justin was clearly gutted at the news of his friend in that car accident. And so he's been through a lot in the past few months, I guess is the way I'll set the scene. And he was able to win this very prestigious golf tournament, the Players Championship at TPC Sawgrass. He had a stretch of holes where he birdied number 9, which is a par 5. He then birdied number 10, which is par 4. He eagled the 11th, which is another par 5, and then birdied 12, which is a drivable par 4, to dash into the lead as some of the leaders were struggling. He didn't really give it up after that. He birdied 16, which is another par 5, as I mentioned earlier, and then parred 17 and 18 to win by 2 over Bryson DeChambeau and Lee Westwood, who were in the final group again in the final round this week, as they were last week, which is the first time that's happened in I think 14 years was the stat. But good on Justin Thomas. He's a tremendous American golfer. I love what he does for the game of golf, and this was a very gutsy and hard-fought win, and you could tell how much it meant to him. I know he's been through a lot. He's done some bad things, but we all have at different points in time. And this is a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve, and you can always count on him kind of telling you exactly how he feels. And he's tremendous for the game of golf. So congrats, Justin. Big win there at the Players. All right. To finish up this episode, I'll just offer up my weekly rundown of Utah athletics. First and foremost was that the Utah baseball team won 2 games. And the first one was 6-3. Second one was 7-1 over rival BYU this weekend at Smith's Ballpark. I was actually lucky to be in attendance there at those games. I was working a camera for my Utah athletics internship, the first game, and then second game I was working the camera as well. But I had the very, very fun and pleasant joy of being a color commentator as well as doing the one camera for the stream. So it was a busy night, but something I'll never forget. First ever broadcast. So it was really fun to go out and watch some live baseball. It was cold, but really, really fun. So good on Utah baseball with 2 wins. The third game was scheduled for Saturday, but was canceled due to weather that was going to take place down in Provo. Utah Gymnastics has finished their regular season very strongly with 2 ranked wins over Oregon State. That final was 197.575 to 196.425. And then they also followed that up with a win over the number 20 ranked program, Utah State. The final score there was 197.275 to 196.500. So with that being said, their sights will now turn to the Pac-12 tournament, which is going to be held here in Salt Lake City, in West Valley City, a couple minutes down the road, in the Maverick Center. A tremendous event. Looking forward to that one and seeing what the Utah Gymnastics team is able to do for their postseason play, as this is the first time in 2 years we'll get to see them partake in postseason play, and they had a very promising run. But they had a very promising ability to make a run, I would say, last year, and they're able to now do so this year. So I'm really looking forward to it. Utah women's soccer had a great weekend this weekend. They had a split with the Southern California schools. They beat number 19 USC on Friday night 2-0. Our good friend and my right hand man on this podcast, Leaf Tulane, did the play-by-play for that game on a Utah radio stream. Was awesome to see. He did a great job. Shout out Leaf in that one. And then they lost today to number 3 UCLA 2-0 in the same score. This would have been the first time that the Utah women's soccer team would have beaten both UCLA and USC in back-to-back games in the same season. So they had a chance to make some school history, but weren't able to do so. But still a great weekend, knocking off the number 19 team in the country. Utah women's volleyball came into the weekend ranked number 9 after a tough road weekend at Stanford. I'm sorry, at Washington. And they earned a hard-fought split against number 17 UCLA in their 2 matches. They dropped the first match on Friday, but they ended that little losing streak there with a 4-set win today. They lost the first set 21-25, but then emphatically bounced back, winning the next 3, 25-18, 25-17, and 25-10 to get back into the win column. So that's going to do it for me. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this solo episode. Make sure to like, subscribe for a whole lot more. I'll be bringing on some more guests in the near future. Got some things in the works. March Madness is here. Selection Sunday was today. We have our bracket. Leaf is just a kid in a candy shop right now. He's texting me nonstop. So we'll have a banger of an episode coming out for all of y'all tomorrow about what the bracket looks like, what we expect to happen, and all that good stuff. So it's a good time of year. March Madness is here, and it's going to be really fun to kind of be able to sit back and enjoy and watch some awesome basketball and just an amazing setup. So all right, everyone. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Hopefully you all enjoyed this episode. Make sure to catch me on Sundays, giving you some sports rundowns. Hopefully you all have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy the weather, whether it's warm where you are, whether it's cold where you are, make the most of it. And just continue to keep hanging there, and I will catch you next week and enjoy another great week of sports. All right, everyone. Take care. Thanks for tuning in.